back on track again. Rockford leaders and a developer claim the $400 million redevelopment of Barber-Colman will move forward. A new general contractor joins the project as the former builder fights for a resolution in court.
Project leaders call Colman Yards a generational chance to rebuild history. WYFR's Nathaniel Langley learns what it'll take for Rockford to see the Barber-Colman complex rise again.
Sydney, Jake, the project has been here before with plans for Colman Yards' historic transformation starting in 2021. But half a decade later, the city and developer hope a new contractor seals the deal on commencing construction. Once Rockford's beating heart of industry collects dust in downtown.
It's so large and it lends itself to so many different types of uses.
Joshua Jeffers' first phase in his company's $400 million redevelopment of the Barber-Colman complex stalls in court.
The situation with those last three buildings is unusual.
J. Jefferson Co. fired its initial contractor, ENC Construction, which faulted on millions of dollars in mechanic liens in 2025.
It's not something that I think will repeat itself again.
The Colman Yards development relaunches with plans for 150 units of multifamily housing and 70,000 square feet of commercial space.
We're so pleased and proud to be a part of this.
On Tuesday, Rockford-based Ringland Johnson Construction and the Northwestern Illinois Building Trades revealed mock-ups for Phase 1B in City Hall.
And we're going to build a project that the Rockfordians, every Rockfordian is going to be proud of.
It's 3 stories and each floor is an apartment unit.
The project team expects to pick subcontractors by the fall. Jeffers guesses a timeline for construction will take shape soon after.
We're rebuilding trust again with the residents of South Rockford because we haven't seen significant development for a really, really long time.
It's a continual transformation and rise of Rockford.
City leaders see the project as a capstone in Rockford's renaissance.
The city of Rockford really leans into our history while preparing for our future.
I reached out to comment from ENC Construction, but have yet to hear back. Jeffers added, some apartments and businesses in Colman Yards could open while other buildings are under construction.
The developer mentioned some businesses signed letters of intent to lease at the property. Jeffers says the focus will be on supporting local businesses, but corporate chains like a Starbucks or Panera would be welcome.